Alright, so trying to get the car through smog, and the thing engine light comes on and it gives me a P0410 powertrain error, which is the secondary air injection. And you chase that all down, and what you're going to find is that air pump that GM used to make for a few years, and they probably put it on hundreds of thousands of cars. You're going to find that that thing is not available. You're not going to find it used, you're not going to find it new, you're not going to find it, because apparently they figured out that it wasn't really all that necessary anyway. So when it fails, you have two options. You can have a dealer perform a technical service bulletin 01-06-04-011 on your car, and what that'll do is it literally logically removes this system from your car. It tells the computer that there is no thing. It disables a couple of triggers that turn it on and off and sense it, and they put a sticker in there and that says that that's been legally removed out of your car. This, by the way, is the part number. The GM part number is 12554580. The Delco part, ACDelco, is 215-133. There's some interchangeable ones. Anyway, it was used for a couple of years on Buick Roadmasters, Cadillac Fleetwoods, Caprice, Impala. And depending on where you look this up, you might find that it was also used on Camaros and Firebirds with LT1s. Anyway, like I said, you're not going to find this part. Good luck going to a junkyard, because it won't be any good in there either, because the fault with it is the engine has, where the air comes out of this thing and goes into the exhaust on both sides of the engine, there's some check valves there, and if under full throttle, sometimes that check valve doesn't stop all of the gases from going one way. Some of them back up into this pump, and when the thing cools, those gases turn into moisture, and guess what happens? That moisture ruins this thing and it stops working. So what I'm going to do is give you your second alternative. Aside from paying a dealer some money, if you got the wherewithal and the skills to get at least this far and get this thing out of your car and know what you're looking at, which not everybody does, so I'm not going to recommend that you go try and figure this out. But if you already know what you're looking at right here, I'm going to show you that it's not impossible to fix this thing yourself and put it right back in the car and get past smog. That's what I'm doing. So the first part of this procedure that I'm going to show you is what I did, which is completely unnecessary, so I'm recommending do not do what I did. This top part, which is just a cover for that, which is really just a blade, a fan blade, is not necessary to pull that off. I wasn't really sure what was inside of this thing, so I pulled it off anyway. And I'm recommending that you simply don't try to get that off of there, because if you do, you'll break these little tabs that hold it on there, and you'll break this little rubber, black rubber seal that looks like somebody, like it was put together with form a gasket or something like that. So don't bother taking the top off. Instead, take this, get this connector loose off of the bottom here, and right there along the bottom edge of this thing, you'll find that if you stick a screwdriver in there and just gently work your way around that, you can actually pull it apart and end up with this in your hand. And you can see there's a filter in there that keeps the air going through it clean. And you're also going to find that really this is a bonehead simple little device. That fan turns, it sucks air in one direction and pushes it out another. And the motor there's really no reason for the motor to fail. I mean, because it's fairly well sealed up and protected by the case itself. What does fail, though, is right there, what you're going to find sticking out the side is what looks like a solenoid, like a valve. And if yours looked like anything like mine, the top part right there, if you push on it, it's not going to go anywhere. That actually seals inside of there to keep gases from coming back in when the pump is not turned on. The PCM in the car does that. So what you'll find is all it was that rust got formed around that piston and stopped the valve from working, which leaves it closed. So when the fan does work and spin, all it does is it pushes air around in a circle, never going into the exhaust manifolds where it belongs. So what I did is you pull this off, this little rubber thing right there, and underneath there's a cap, there's a spring. Take those off carefully because you're going to reuse them and you're not going to be able to find replacement parts. And then gently, right there on the tip of that thing, tap it with a hammer and loosen it up so that it's actually, not completely solid, rusted, frozen in there. And then, believe it or not, all I did was I hit it with some WD-40 and you got now a solenoid that actually works. So I spin it around, cleaned it up a little bit, hit it with some more WD-40, spin it around just a little, make sure that it works real nice and smooth, and then go about putting this thing back together. And it's really just, just put this thing back on there like this, put the cover, back on, right along the inside edges of this can. You're going to use some more, clean it up. You're going to put some more black forma gasket or other sealer around there, because if you don't, this thing will be exposed. Every time you go through water, you're going to be sucking it and you'll ruin it really fast. So make sure it's watertight when you put it back together. Put it back in the car and go through your drive cycle and you should be fine. It should be considered remanufactured by you and working again. So good luck with that. Really simple. You can either pay a dealer to do this whole thing, and I don't know what they charge, but I'm not even going to go bother asking, because no dealers have touched my car in decades, because I just don't go that route. So here it is. Alright, so one more thing before you put this all together, and after you've lubed that thing so that it looks like it's gonna go up and down freely, you probably ought to test it. So again, this is low tech. Here's the tools. Battery charger is connected to 2 screwdrivers. I'm going to put the ground wire on that far right terminal right there, and I'm going to touch the middle terminal in this plug to the positive, and that is what it's supposed to do. Nice and easy, go up and down. If I touch the other terminal, you can see the motor works just fine. But that's testing it just to make sure it does what it's supposed to do. And now I'm going to go ahead and seal it all up and put it together. Okay, I did say low tech. So here it is. It's all sealed up with forma gasket. You can see some of it like so. And that takes a little while to cure and what have you. So while it is doing that, I just clip it together with some tie wraps, nice and snug. Let it set before I put it back in the car. Alright, this thing is just about ready to go back in the car. And that's where it's going to get bolted, right there. And that's where it's going to get all hooked up, etc. So I'm going to take one other shot when it's back in the car. Alright, smog air pump, all remanufactured, all reinstalled in the car, right there. Connect it up. And I'm done with this job. Gonna turn this car back on and check out all the codes. Oh, no, you're talking